Hello everyone, we are, believe it or not, at the site of Chelleston East Junction on what was the Derby to Ashby de la Zouch line. 80s kids will remember Ashby de la Zouch because of Adrian Mole. If you read the diary of Adrian Mole, he lived in Ashby de la Zouch, which is in Leicestershire. What we're doing now, the reason why we're in the forest is there's actually a goods shed that remains in here, right in the middle of that triangle, that was built, I believe, by the military in 1939. So hopefully we'll find that in a sec. And then what we'll do, we'll get on the bikes and we'll head down the Cloud Trail towards Ashby de la Zouch. You can only get as far as sort of a place called Worthington. It's about 5 miles down there. So we'll follow that. Lots of bridges, lots of viaducts, stations, loads of remains. Need to stop me eating like this, and then by the 5th time it's just awkward. Well, I've already found a sleep. There's a sleeper here, isn't there? There's a sleeper here. I don't know what it was. I saw something. Or maybe it's not a sleeper actually then. Oh yeah, no, it is. That's a railway sleeper. That is. And another one. So there must have been loads of sidings here. I'm wishing I'd worn trousers now. I thought it was just like a nice, pleasant bike ride, Phil. Oh mate. It's just become a running joke now with myself. Right, Phil spotted a structure. It did feel very much like we were just walking around in circles. Ow! No, that's red brick. Right. So this was a quarry, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was a quarry originally in between the two lines. And then the military, when they took over the railway in 1939, built some good sheds. Where was that brickwork we saw? Oh yeah, there it is. There's some brickwork through there. And there's fencing here. I wonder if they fenced it off then.
This is trackbed. No, they haven't. That's the trackbed, I think. That's the main line. So we need
Right.
to get it that way, mate. Anyway, found some.
Yeah, look at that.
Fireplace.
Little fireplace. Yeah. So I suppose would have been like a little workers hangout.
We're getting close.
Make yourself some bacon and eggs. Right, here we go. So this is like an engine shed, a goods shed that was I wonder if was this abandoned in 45 then when the military left the railway, do you think?
No, I read somewhere they used it to store steam engines, and the steam here they dumped a load in this triangle, whether it was the old military ones that you talked about earlier or whether it was just a storage place for all these amount of steam engines that they had.
Yeah.
Inspection pit still.
Yeah, inspection pit still there. Crazy, isn't it? Let's have a look around. It's not at all creepy. Where am I looking? Oh yeah.
It's a bit strange. I thought the track, oh, it's still there. Well, there is a bit of track. You missed it. It's not like you to miss a piece of track, mate. What are you playing at?
I know, mate. I'm still seething after stinging myself again.
Two sidings by the looks of it coming in.
Yeah.
And if it was used as a wagon weights on later on, perfect for getting under them, I guess.
Yeah, what's in here?
No, not want that nice.
It doesn't look that nice, no. Look at that. A lot of people been round here though. You can tell. Look at that.
Look about letting undergrowth go wild. Look at that.
I know, it's crazy, isn't it? Yeah. I don't know enough about this building to even be able to go, right, oh yeah, that structure's that structure's that. I haven't got a clue.
No, well, we can safely say this with the way the two lines are getting.
Yeah.
That's about all I can say with concrete.
Yeah.
And of course, tracker is still in there actually, but...
So that was cool to see that. Now what we're going to do, we're going to try desperately to find the bikes. And then we're going to get cycling down the Cloud Trail.
To the side.
Yeah, it's hard to tell, isn't it?
Because if you look at the...
Well,
this is the junction, you know, isn't it?
yeah, so one's going off into the middle to where we've just been, and then one's going left. I reckon that probably is original, you know?
Right, but the sleeper's definitely been cut or chopped in.
Yeah.
They've just been dumped.
It's weird though why you'd leave that. You take all the other track away.
I wonder if they put it there and they were going to put a plaque up or something saying, you know, this is what used to be blah blah blah, and it's never got round to doing it.
Yeah, maybe. So now we're heading off down the Cloud Trail. This line, as far from Derby as far as Melbourne, was built in 1868 by the Midland Railway Company, and then the extension onto Ashby was built just a few years later in 1874. Now, that little bit near Ashby, how you doing? You alright? That went through Old Parks Tunnel, which you might remember from a couple of videos ago. That's where I stung myself to bits. Oh yeah, got some good stings on my wrist and elbow and calf. That's pretty good combo, that.
I didn't get any.
Yeah, that was a 3-for-1 deal, that. They closed that section in the 50s, but this bit that we're cycling now remained open until 1980, and actually the track wasn't even lifted till 1988, which I'm guessing is why there's so much stuff to see. So that's the River Trent we're going over now. That goes into Nottingham. Boo. Past the city ground. Double boo. And Notts County, I don't mind them. This line is also known as the Military Line, or the Melbourne Line. Reason being, in 1939, the military took over this railway, and they kept it till 1945 when the Second World War ended. And what they used it for was training. So they were training troops to basically destroy railways and then rebuild them again. Now there's a military railway down in Hampshire. This is called Longmoor.
Longmoor, yeah.
Longmoor Military Railway, which I think is a preserved line now. That was the main hub for this sort of operation, but they needed a lot more space and they didn't have it there. So they nicked this bit of railway and used it during the Second World War. But then when they handed the railway back in 1945, it was an absolute mess. And so the Midland Railway were in all kinds of trouble. Oh no. God, then I'll do mine. It's annoying, isn't it? Ah, false alarm. Boo. Lured us in. We'll come up to Melbourne Station shortly, and in the field there were loads and loads of sidings, and that was because of the military use. Now Phil says there's some buffers in those sidings that aren't standard, so I guess they're either military ones or even Americanized ones, because I'm guessing the Americans and the Canadians, they were all here training as well, so we'll go and try and find that. Is there some railway track ahead, Phil?
I'd say no.
Fooled me once. Some beautiful bridge. It feels like the Monsell Trail at the minute. I think it's because the same kind of brickwork.
Not as many people though.
Not as many people, no, not as much of that. That's relentless on the Monsell Trail. Here it is. It's like a Roman road, isn't it? Bosh. Towards the end of this, there's a place called Breedon on the Hill. So just a little village. But if you've ever driven down the A42, you might recognise it. It's basically like a big church that sits on this massive hill that looks like kind of like Ayers Rock. So I'll try and get the drone up at the end and get some decent footage of that, because it just looks awesome. Not much to do with the railway, but it just looks awesome. So I've just jumped off the bike because we spotted a couple of bits and bobs. This is a farmer's field, so I'm not going to go in it, but I will come down here because you can see. Now, as Phil said, you look at that and you just think, oh, that's probably farm related, but these fields were full of sidings that were used by the military, so that could well have been part of that. So we're just coming into Melbourne station. Melbourne's nice, South Derbyshire, nice little village. Pricey I think, but nice. And then what we're going to do, we're going to come off the line here at the station, and we're going to go and try and find these buffers, which I think are in that field adjacent. There's another couple of bridges. Just coming into the village now. You say Melbourne Station's actually in Kings Newton?
Correct. Yep, and that's no lie. Same reason Sutton Parkway is in Cakeby, I guess.
Yeah, I guess, yeah. Is there platform and stuff there, or?
I don't think so, no. I think this one's not a lot going on. Maybe the approach path might be the same. I'm not
Got you,
sure.
got you.
That's where we need to be on that bridge.
On this bridge?
Yeah, so
Okay.
we're going right up that slope.
Got you. Okay, literally 30 seconds on the bike, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And there they are. Just sat in the field. So there's those red brick buildings there that we were looking at a second ago, saying that they could well be military related. And here's the buffers. Just sat in the field. Disused since 1945. Amazing, really. It would have looked incredible, wouldn't it, all those years ago?
Yeah.
Back on the railway now. Well, what was the railway? But when the military handed that back, this line back in 1945, it was an absolute mess. Like, all the infrastructure was a mess because it'd just been allowed to run down, basically. But they had 8 engines, and they basically decimated them as well. I was reading they were basically taking water out of the river and sticking it in the engines, which is obviously no good for them. And then in 1945, the Midland Railway charged them about 25 grand. Don't know what that would be in today's money, quite a bit I imagine. And then in 1948, they nationalised the railways and British Rail was born, basically because the military had taken over the railways for the best part of 6 years and just destroyed it all. And then it was handed back to the companies that basically hadn't made any money for 6 years because the railways hadn't been working, so you can imagine how that would work financially. Not great. I can hear it but not see it. There it is. There you go. Just jumped off the bike quickly. So that would have had like a metal thing on it where they would measure the height. I'm guessing for the bridges maybe that it's about to come up to. So we've reached our first station remains. We went through Melbourne Station, which was actually in Kings Newton, and there's nothing left of that one apart from the bridge. But this is a bit more like it. Tong and Breeden, or Breeden and Tong. Was it Tong and Breeden?
Tong and Breeden, yeah.
Tong and Breeden. So here we go, you can see the platform. There's a station house as well.
Oh,
lovely.
It's a new building though, mate. It's been built on platforms.
Is it?
Yeah, it's new.
Oh yeah, of course it is, you can tell that now. They've been sympathetic though, haven't they, in the way they've built it, to be fair.
It's quite good actually.
Yeah. Okay, so that's not the station, but
It is a station, but
they've made it look similar to how it would have been, which is nice. Could have been worse, could have just been a concrete mess.
Well, they're too hard to see.
Oh yeah. See, there's the platform there. And there is another arch. So I wondered, I bet there was another line went through there maybe, then the siding. Yeah. Rejoin the line here. That's a map. That's a map job.
Well, we didn't stop at that station anyway. We were at Express.
Yeah. That's slightly different, that bridge. They've just obviously put a new top on it.
Still got a inspector on the top.
Tong Village. We're in Worthington, 1.75 miles. That's where we're cycling to. Don't know if you can hear it, but it's the A42. So it's a hella busy dual carriageway. So we have to come off the track bed, go up and round, sort of 1/2 mile out our way, and then we get back on the track bed. And then we'll come to Cloud Hill Quarry. And that section then we're going to do was actually originally part of the Ticknal Tramway, which we did a couple of videos ago. And then the Midland Railway bought it. Now you can hear that dual carriage, okay? The Midland Railway bought it and made it sort of standard gauge and then extended all the way up here. So we'll just go around this because that sounds pretty busy. There you go, that's breeding on the hill. Those trees basically make it look like Tuscany, but it just looks incredible. Look, it's almost like on an Ayers Rock type thing, so I'll try and get some better footage. Back on the line, Cloud Hill Quarry, which we'll have a little look at in a minute if I don't fall off the bike. Okay. There's the old track bed, and yeah, you're right, there is a little bridge there. Okay, onwards. Okay, so here's Cloud Hill Quarry. I'll send the drone up so you can actually see it, because obviously visually here you are not getting anything like the vastness of it. Phil was saying that there's an image on Britain from Above, which I'll try and find, which shows actually a spur coming off this line and going in there.
Yeah, it would have been just here, I think, but it's just been quarried away now, you know. Because look, there's a kink in. Can you see the kink down there? Look on the track there.
Yeah. So what? So it goes going round. So it would have gone off left into the quarry.
It's come this way straight in, and it's all obviously been quarried away now. But yeah, I'm pretty certain that's where it came off.
So we're coming up to Worthington Station now. There is a station house there, Phil's telling me. But there was a path underneath, so looks like potentially that. So let's have a look. I'll get off the bike and we'll go and have an explore and see if we can find this path that went under the line. So yeah, once upon a time this would have gone underneath. Is there anything on the other side, mate? Let's have a look.
We can get the gist of it.
That's the end of the Cloud Trail basically, and this is it a station house?
It looks a bit modern to me. Chimney looks a bit too modern.
This bit's an extension on the right. That bit's the original, isn't it? But
well, the lines are over that side and the platforms are a bit further back, so obviously station house is normally at the end, isn't it, of the station? So it could be. Maybe there's a station house sign somewhere.
yeah, sometimes they tend to leave a sign on, don't they, saying station house. But I'm not going to film their house like close up because they live there. Okay. So we're coming off now the official Cloud Trail. What we're going to do, we're going to carry on a bit and see if we can't find another couple of bridges that Phil says are along the line, and we'll try and kind of fill in the gaps between here and Old Parks Tunnel, where we were before a couple of videos ago. So this will hopefully we can find a couple of remains, and then that will sort of tie up the two. We should go under the railway, shouldn't we? I can see something. Oh, it's lost the top unfortunately, but there you go. Yeah, it was a double track line, wasn't it? So,
Double, yeah.
Well, though you're right though, it does look quite thin, doesn't it?
It might be a bit wider.
Yeah, maybe. But there you go. We've come off the old, obviously the Cloud Trail. Yeah, that's Stinger Fest. That is, mate. That's like Old Parks Tunnel all over again.
I just got stung without even going there.
Yeah, I'm getting blooming PTSD just thinking about it. Down there. But if we follow the road, we should come to another few more, you're saying? So we followed it down. The track bed was to our right, basically, and we were on the road. But we found you can actually get down underneath this particular bridge. Just in the distance over that way, is New Bold Brickworks. Now I'll send the drone up in a sec and try and get some footage of the chimney, because it looks amazing from a distance. But we'll just get down here. I'll keep rolling as always in case there's a... Oh, jeez. There was nearly a moment. Okay, here we go. That's a beautiful bridge. Red brick, this one as well. The others were stonework, weren't they? But this one's the old red brick. Trying to see if there's any soot marks, there don't seem to be really. Sometimes you can still see it from when the old steam trains came through. Oh yeah, look, I was wondering where all these bricks have come from, but that would be where they've come from.
I'll just think it's
Okay, so that way, Old Parks Tunnel, and then behind us, Derby. So that's us. Phil's still looking for blackberries. We've done the Cloud Trail, so we started off at Chelleston East Junction, just outside the city of Derby. We followed it down all the way to the end at what was Worthington Station, and then we've come and had a little bit of an explore at a couple of these bridges, and we're going to have a little look at that brickworks as well. As always, thanks for watching. Click like, subscribe, comment, and we'll see you next time.
See you.